Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host, Josh Taylor, in tonight for Rich Walsh. Got a lot to get to on tonight's show. Pirates, of course, just wrapped up an 11-0 shutout win over the Marlins in Miami. A lot to dissect from this game. For as much as I talked about last night about things that just didn't make sense that this team had been doing over the past few weeks, this was one of those days where they did a lot of things that made sense. If you want to look at it from the very beginning, I talked about this when we discussed the starting lineup during the 6 o'clock news. I talked about the lineup from top to bottom, how they had their three hottest guys, arguably their three hottest guys in the lineup, in Kevin Newman, Brian Reynolds, Starling Marte in the top three spots ahead of Josh Bell. Then they had another one of their hot bats, Colin Moran, hitting fifth behind Bell. So they actually put their lineup together in probably one of the most optimized ways we've seen all season. I liked what we saw out of that. Stephen Brault on the mound. They needed a starter to go deep into the game. Stephen Brault especially. Granted, he started the year as a reliever. Hadn't really stretched himself out until about a month ago. They needed him to go deeper just because of the lack of pitching depth right now. He goes 6 scoreless innings. The bullpen manages to slam the door the rest of the way. All that stuff you look at and you say, those are things that made sense. Those are things that you needed. Now, if you look at it on the flip side of it, you're also in Miami and you're also facing the Marlins. With that in mind, to get that perspective, joining me in studio has his own show on 93.7 The Fan, columnist for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Paul Zeise. Paul, I just mentioned everything that went right for the Pirates. They're also in Miami facing a team in the Marlins that won one of their last 8 games. Now, Jack Zarensik, Pirates pregame and postgame analyst, former GM of the year, he told me this a year ago when I was working with him. He said, sometimes it's not about who you face as much as it is when you face them. Miami, we know, is a last-place team, but they're also in the middle of a skid of their own. So how much do you put into this maybe just being timing for the Pirates or them doing the right things in this particular situation?
Both. I mean, they played well. I mean, they did the things that you need to do to win baseball games. They pitched well. They hit, they got timely hits. For the most part, they fielded well. I mean, they did the things you need to do in order to win games. The only thing I would say is they did beat the Marlins. And you know what? Hey, you can only play who they put in front of you. Exactly. So, to me, the Pirates are probably a team that's going to hover around 500 all year long. I know they're, 7 games under or something. Right. I expect them to have a stretch where they'll win, 6 or 7 or something, and they'll get themselves back into that area. And so if you're a team like that, that's right hovering around 500, it means you're not atrocious. It means you're not bad. You might not be great, but it means that you are more than capable.
It means you're not the Marlins.
And you should be able to beat the teams like the Marlins. And so, people wanted to criticize the Pirates because if you look at their splits or whatever you want to call it, a lot of their wins are against teams that don't have winning records or are bad teams like this. Well, those are the teams you're supposed to beat. If you're a 500 team, that means you're in the middle, which means all these teams you're supposed to take advantage of and beat.
If you want to really dissect some of the things, maybe that sweep against Atlanta at PNC Park a few weeks back, that's one of the series that's more of the exception than it is the rule. But to your point, it really does spell out just how good they've been against teams that they're supposed to beat nonetheless, except maybe the Reds. The Reds have given them trouble. But still. Here's another thing to look at. I just talked about how Stephen Brault goes 6 scoreless innings. The bullpen manages to keep the 0 on the board. I thought scoring the 11 runs was good, but I thought getting the 0 from the pitching staff was even more important. And here's why. In the last 22 games, the Pirates averaged 5.5 runs a game. That's above average. That's pretty good. They won 6 of those games because they could not keep teams off the scoreboard. So to get the 0 tonight, for me, is pretty much just as important, if not more, than getting 11 runs on the board, Paul.
No, absolutely. I mean, they have been scoring runs. And they've got guys that hit the ball, and there's no question about it. They're going to be an offense probably that's going to be difficult to deal with in some ways, just because they've got a lot of guys that are either hot or they're actually really good hitters. And so if they can get reasonable pitching, they'll give themselves a chance. Now, the one thing that I've gotten a little tired of hearing about is, when Clint Hurdle, after, games like last night, talking about how proud he is that they fight to the end. It's like, come on. This isn't Little League here, my man. It's win or lose. And if you lose 8 in a row or whatever it was, That's great that you're fighting to the end, but that doesn't mean a thing. I think most teams are fighting to the end. It's just you got to win games, and I think tonight was a good game for the Pirates. They scored when they scored runs. They got timely hits. They hit the ball out of the ballpark. They did a lot of really good things, but they've got to continue to do it. And then hopefully, the hope is you take a series like this against a bad team
and try to turn it into something good.
And it turns into a spark. The next thing you know, we're sitting here next Friday, and they've won 6 out of their 8, 7, or 5 out of 7, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They got on a roll because they got hot against a bad team. That happens. Maybe tomorrow. Who's the Panamanian kid, isn't he? Going the
Agassal goes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's take a break. We'll discuss that when we come back. We're taking your phone calls too. 412-575-2600 is the number on the Borders and Borders hotline. Stick around.
Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland